Well, it's been a terrific break. Obviously, the recovery green was a big moment. So it's 2-0. Sanderson Lamb won a tight first frame, then made a century, so he's taken early control here against Ronnie O'Sullivan. But the significance really there was how the break started. O'Sullivan missing that black to leave the chance. This is
the results in the big money tournaments, the Triple Crown events, the China events, Saudi Arabia now. They're the ones you want deep runs in. They're the ones that impact the rankings. Sean Murphy made a fair point, I thought, recently about the comparison between, oh, well, we're having a re-rack, so straight away a glance to the opposite corner. Felt that frame was going nowhere.
It didn't take long, did it?
Yeah, Sean made the point that he felt that the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters wasn't 5 times as hard to win as the British Open, but in terms of the rankings, that's effectively what it was. It was 5 times the prize money, and of course that's ranking points, isn't it? So it can distort the rankings a little touch.
The other side of that is we want promoters to put as much money in as possible, and they want to buy prestige for their events. So what's the incentive to do that if it's not a prize money ranking list? That's the other argument. Anyway, we're going to start this frame again. And Ronnie O'Sullivan, we know at any point he can click into gear. He did yesterday, but been few signs of it so far, let's be honest, today.
So this time the break off, Ronnie not able to cover that red. It didn't get near it in the end.
Don Mitchell Mann, by the way, is playing Scott Donaldson because he beat Mark Allen to qualify. It was a great win. And he's currently 2-0 up against Donaldson. So it's, players from various points of the rankings. This is a big event because of the prize money. It's a chance to really sort of secure. And unlike a lot of clubs, of course, it's still going, which is good to see. They have regular prams there, don't they, and events every weekend.
Yeah, it's it never fails to amaze me, actually, every time I go. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is, there's always a waiting list for the snooker tables, and there's, what, 26 full-size tables in there. They've got pool, and upstairs another pool hall as well. You know, it really is thriving, the Q Sports scene at the Northern Snooker Centre, in, as you say, in a time really where snooker clubs are struggling. You know, a lot of clubs are closing down or making changes at least. I know the club I based myself at now, Lincoln Snooker Club, we've made some changes there, taking a full-size snooker table out to accommodate the growing pool scene. It's trying to get players involved in the game, isn't it? Try and get the kids coming through the doors to play snooker.
Well, you can understand the reaction not getting on a colour, because where the Reds were, that was a serious chance to make another frame-winning break if he just got on a colour there. Well, this is one of those. You can see the black full, of course, so nominating green, you're going to have to hit something in the next two shots, because you can see the black full. Or not leave a red on, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I'm sure Ronnie will try and find a way in which he can play from where the cue ball has come to rest. He'll fancy Sanderson to hit the green next time, so might not want to take the chance of being snookered. There you see, can't find a pot, but feels there's value in trying to play a safety shot himself. I can think of a lot of players that would have just straight away nodded to the referee and, well, that's a pretty advanced safety shot. There's not many that would have seen that to angle Sanderson in the jaws of the pocket.
Yeah, it's a bit nasty. I mean, look where all the Reds are here. He's got to find cover. Sullivan trying to get him behind the brown. He's not.
made no difference because Ronnie's found one, as he so often does. Well, that cue ball has been overrun by a fair distance. They've landed on this red to the green pocket. Quite fortunate really that he landed pretty straight on that red. Had he not been straight, it could have well been end of break. Getting the cue ball control the last couple of shots, it hasn't looked much, but he's had to be perfect really. Little glance at the scoreboard, he's well in front. One more red and high value colour will be enough, but doesn't seem to like where he's landed here, so looking elsewhere, just the safety shot. 65 points in front, 75 remain there, you see.
And again, treating Sanderson Lamb there with every respect, and it's understandable after the century in the last frame. He didn't sort of push the boat out there. She's prepared to wait for another opportunity.
Yeah, from Sanderson's point of view, it's he that has to make the moves here if he's going to get anything from this frame. Of course, trying to develop these 5 reds on the top cushion seems a difficult task in terms of trying to get back to balk, catch them slightly too thick. You're going to bring them into play and possibly leave a chance for Ronnie. Of course, just looking for one more red and high value colour. Oh, that's a very good safety shot. Look at that. Similar to the shot that Sanderson played earlier, swinging the cue ball around using that right-hand side spin. Such a nice shot to play. Can sort of guide and control the line a lot better. Well, that's a wide. Quite a big misjudgment, in fact.
Can't really be a field to give away. Next time. 73 behind, 75 on, so if he doesn't make contact, he needs to snooze himself.
Yeah, and he's got to get very, very close to the knuckle of that middle pocket to make this line. I'm not sure it's on.
So no miscall this time because, as I say, Lamb needs a snooker himself. And that red secures the frame. So some patience from O'Sullivan. He didn't attempt that red down the cushion, did he? He laid the snooker and, well, it worked a treat. Quite a year, as every year seems to be for Ronnie, because it started in January with him smashing up his cue at the Championship League, throwing it in the bin. It's going to end with him turning 50 at the UK Championship. Before then, this event is a huge one. He's never won it, and in this match, he's on the scoreboard, trailing 2-1. Now then, we saw the early throws of that 4th frame, Fan Zhengyi. He wasn't a maximum, which Stephen maybe tipped, but he did dominate it. He won it in a couple of visits, and this was a break of 69 to just make it 2-2. So it's been a very open match. That didn't take long to get to the interval. Of course, he had that weird superstition, didn't he, that he wanted his first professional century to be a maximum. Seems to be asking a lot, that, really. In the end, he gave up on that and just made centuries.
Just a proper snooker player thought that, isn't it? I mean, it was never going to happen, was it? But yeah, you're right. This looks like a good game, actually. You know, 2 players that play the game properly. Heavy scorers, very attractive to watch as well. 2 each in no time.
Yes, Zhao Xingtong's had breaks of 88 and 111 in the frames 2 and 3 that he won. So a nice way to go to the interval and set up well with the players locked together at 2-2. It's 2-1 to Sanderson Lamb. Ronnie O'Sullivan having won the third frame, so one more to come before the interval here in Nanjing. Just to say, the 14-year-old who's playing Sean Murphy, Wang Xinzhong, has just made an 81 break to win his first frame. It's 3-1 to Sean. He's had a century as well, so 29 centuries now this season for Murphy. That's top of the list. Jack Lazowski's had 2 today, so he's 3-1 up against Louis Heathcote. 2-2 Zhao Xingtong and Fang Zhengyi at the interval there.
Not for the first time we've seen Ronnie slot that sort of shot home. Sanderson's break off once again, just proving to give that early opening to Ronnie. And the lone red at the back of the pack is Ronnie's target. Needs that cue ball to just check up. Look at how well he's played that. I mean, pick your cue ball up and place it anywhere on the table. He'd put it pretty close to where it's come to rest. And now a chance to really get into them. Just wants to be careful. The 2 reds just left of the pack, as we see there, in a sort of line heading towards the balk. If he catches them pretty full, he might not do too much damage to the pack of reds. He ideally wants to hit right of that first red, get into the main bunch. Just like that. Perfect.
Yeah, he was a little annoyed, wasn't he, that he just grazed the blue, but he's recovered well.
Again, it goes back to what I mentioned in that previous frame, the speed of which he gets the balls open, and, you know, within a few minutes, Sanderson sat in his seat, really struggling to see a way how Ronnie breaks down here. He's got the reds really nicely spread. That's just how quickly these games can turn, particularly when this man's at the table. I suppose, as is the case with playing any of the game's greats, you go into an early lead and You know, it's the hope that kills you, I suppose. You think you've got a realistic chance of maybe getting something from the match, and all of a sudden within the
thing really is you don't have to do much wrong. I mean, he's broken off, hasn't he? You know, here, and he's starting to look like that'll be his only shot. Ronnie O'Sullivan's won 4 ranking titles in China. He's won various big invitation events as well, the Shanghai Masters included. It was actually on this very day, 35 years ago, Stephen Hendry won the first ranking event in China, the Asian Open in Guangzhou, 1990, but it was 9 years till the next one. This is now, this international championship, this is the 62nd ranking event in China, so it just shows you the last 15 years in particular, off the back of Ding's success and off the back of Barry Hearn at World Snooker Tour. They've come thick and fast. Of course, there was a break for COVID, but well and truly back now, and of course we're back with the world champion as well from China, Jia Tong, and it looks like the China Open's coming back on the calendar as well, so it's a real success story.
Yeah, and they're events that all the players want to be involved in now, aren't they? These Chinese tournaments, such big occasions, not just the prize money that's on offer, but they're proper tournaments. You know, you're treated really, really well.
63.
And Ronnie's treated us to a bit of a masterclass in break building here. Very quickly got the reds open. The shot on the brown was very, very good. 4 cushions to get back down this business end, and then very quickly got the pack of reds open, and that's the frame gone.
So, every chance to make his 5th century of this tournament, because it's only his 2nd match. It's not so much the speed by which he unlocks the puzzle, it's the fact that to him it doesn't seem like a puzzle. It's just natural, isn't it?
Yeah, and the reason why he can play at such speed is because his cue ball is pretty much always where he wants it to be, so there's never much time wasted walking around the table looking at options. It's just perfect cue ball control.
Ooh, but he's been looking at that tip actually throughout the break, and for some reason missed that ping. Wasn't happy with the cue in there, or the tip or something. So no century, but it was a great break nonetheless. It won him the frame, and from 2-0 down, and Sanderson Lamb playing good stuff. It hasn't taken long to turn round and be all square at the interval. So nicely for when the players come back in 15 minutes. Level at 2-2. And you hear 2-2 with Jia Tong in front in the next frame. Break of 59, so he's going to need another red. Leipzig Fan or Lu Wenwei. It's 3-0 to Leipzig Fan, of course. Scottish Open champion last. Beat Karen Wilson day one at the Crucible. start playing really well at this time of year. Of course, he won this title last year and a couple more centuries earlier, beat Michael Holt very comfortably. That was close. He was on the black, but the red didn't go in.
Yeah, it's a good point you make about Ding, actually. It's right, isn't it? He does always seem to come good this time of year. He's a bit of a winter player, isn't he? Of course, with York on the horizon, but as you say, Sanderson got very close to that opener. Didn't disappear, so Ronnie immediately in with the chance.
Tell you what, if they ever take the UK Championship away from York, Ding will be outside the Barbican with a placard, because he always plays well there. He's won it many times, finals. I'm sure he'll be dangerous again in a few weeks' time.
I think the interval came at a good time for Sanderson, really. Chance to just get out of the arena and reset. If you'd have offered him 2 each at the start of the match, there's no questions he would have taken it. But I think because he was 2-0 up and then lost the next 2, so it doesn't feel as good, but to try and, as I say, reset and go again. But didn't want to present an early chance to Ronnie, and with this yellow travelling the full length of the table to the corner pocket, he does have the chance.
Going to the interval, Barry Hawkins is 3-1 up against Yuan Jihao. On table 5. I think Barry quite likes being out of the way, doesn't he? He just does his job, which tends to be winning a lot of matches. We'll see him at some point, I'm sure, later in the week.
Possibly fancied bringing a lot more reds into play than what's happened. Red by the middle has just about held up, I think. Can't get through to the one to left corner. Quite a thin clip this, and queuing over another red. His vision is slightly distorted, queuing down. No problems. Being available helps because he's the wrong side of the blue, but just a little concerned as to where it goes once it's re-spotted. Presumably its own spot is occupied, so it doesn't necessarily want to tie any reds up with it going at the back of the pack. He's convinced that it won't do too much damage, so it's as we were. He's low on this red, so he'll be bringing more into play. Just trying to control that cue ball back for the black. A little lower than he would have liked. Didn't quite catch it as intended. With the red spread far and wide, this becomes a pressure pot. Nicely done. Made to look easy.
Well, meanwhile, I can tell you that the 14-year-old Wang Xingjong has made a century against Sean Murphy in the 5th frame. So it's 3-2 to Murphy. It was 3-0 but 81, and it looks like 107. 3-2, getting interesting.
Oh, it's great to see, isn't it? 14 years of age, and taking it to one of the best performing players on the World Snooker Tour this season. Every credit to him. And once again, we're just seeing how quickly Ronnie can reel off these frames.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that obviously he smashed the cue up. Getting the new cue, getting the right cue has been a challenge, and I guess he's had to put the work in. So he's sort of had to force himself to really practice. And we're seeing the fruits of that here.
Yeah, maybe just gave him another focus, as you say, and forced him to be on the practice table. Just fine-tuning and getting to grips with the new equipment. We was there in Leicester, wasn't we, when he smashed that cue up? It was, not nice to see. I don't think anyone knew what to do with themselves that day, did they? But he's missed that one.
Yeah, I mean, he was wrong side of the blue, but he'd recovered, you thought, position, and keeps staring at that tip. Bottom line is he's not killed the frame off. There's still enough on here. Well, we saw the clearance from Zhao Xingtong on the other table. There can be massive moments in matches, and the chance is here for Sanderson Lam, which I'm sure he wasn't expecting to get.
Yeah, there's just a couple of awkward reds on either side cushion or close to the side cushions that you're going to have to tend to at some point, but it's a chance I'm sure he never expected to arrive.
Quickly, Jack Lisowski's had a third century in that match against Louis Heathcote, who's had one himself, so it's 4-2 to Lisowski. The winner, of course, of that will play the winner of this.
Do you reckon Jack's feeling pretty good about things at the minute?
Well, I mean, it was a great story, but as you say, like coming here, all the players, I'm sure, spent all week congratulating him. He's just on a high, isn't he? I think he said he didn't fly here. He was sort of on a crest of a wave.
Yeah, he must just feel so loose at the minute. The pockets must feel like buckets to him. Finally getting that trophy in his cabinet.
Well, he's developed that red, so chance remains. It's a big moment, this, I think. If he can take it, then, it's a real twist, because O'Sullivan was looking really good.
This clearance has just got a little more realistic for Sanderson Lam. Lifted that safe-ish red from the right side cushion. The one by the left is okay. You can play in behind that at some point. That's fine. So all of a sudden, might just be feeling the excitement will be there. The nerves will be starting to kick in. The chance is definitely here for the clearance. He's got the chance to lay in behind that red as well. Possibly 3 pockets to play on it, get the cue ball by the side cushion. Didn't quite get into that cue ball as he wanted. Went too close to that left side cushion, and that's a chance missed.
Now, where's this white? Where's this white? Oof, he was a little concerned.
pleased with that safety shot. Ronnie now coming the 2 cushions, trying to just glance off this red. Quite a big frame all of a sudden. Gone from Ronnie being in the position where it was harder to see where he would go wrong. It eventually did go wrong, missed that red to right corner. Sanderson having to play the patient game. Yes, he's behind, but still very much in this frame. Best of safety shots that he's ever played. Failing to control the object ball, really chance at this red. Similar. Needed to get that red ball safe. Hand on table for Ronnie. Doesn't need asking twice.
The graphics are a bit misleading because there's only 42 remaining for him. For Sanderson Lamb, there's 35 remaining. Snooker, and Lamb in big trouble here because of course he needs one himself. That's why even that foul when he just failed to make the contact, the thin contacts on the red, it's made a difference, isn't it? You know, because he could have tied but for that. So they look kind of not a big deal at the time, but it all stacks up. This is a great hit if he's hit it. Not quite. Good effort, but he has left a chance at it, and he's in fact conceded. So he's in the balance. He did have the chance to make the clearance, you've got to say, but it didn't happen. And Ronnie O'Sullivan, from 2-0 down, leads Sanderson Lamb by 3 frames to 2.
he'll be disappointed he didn't make better of that opportunity, Sanderson, and straight away again Ronnie in and knocks the long red in straight into the pack and brings a few more into play, and it's almost business as usual. Interested to know why he keeps looking at the tip of his cue. It isn't all that obvious as to what the issue is. I know he said yesterday he felt that maybe he wasn't as responsive as he would have liked, or maybe on the soft side, but seems to be okay. I wouldn't mind making 4 centuries in a 90 in a 6-5 win. When he gets in, it doesn't seem to be an issue. It's sort of those mid-distance ones that maybe there's a little question over. Anyway, not making much difference, is it? Another very aggressive shot going into the reds. Again, the outcome absolutely A1. It's not alarm bells just yet for Sanderson, but from 2-0 up, it certainly feels like this game is getting away from him. I suppose it's a question as to what has he got to do to turn this game around. The first things first is stop leaving the long reds. Stop tempting Ronnie into those long ones, because at the minute he's getting them.
Well, it's sort of turning into a bit of a one-man show. Of course, he didn't kill it off in the last frame in a single visit, so it was in some doubt. But not much more to do here to make it 4-2. This is the ball then for the frame, and just in no time at all. Yeah, Sanderson, arms crossed. What more can you do, really? Just watch. I suppose at least it was quick.
Once again, we're seeing just the fine margins of this sport, particularly at the top against the best players. You know, even just half chances is sometimes all they need to motor on and kill off the frames in quick time. This has been a rapid visit from Ronnie O'Sullivan. And to be fair, his cue ball is just on a bit of string at the minute. There's not not many better sights in sport in general, is there, than this man when he's in full flow at the table. You kind of just have to watch and be in awe of what you're seeing. Of course, from Sanderson's point of view, that's the last thing he needs to do when he's out there, but it's quite difficult, I suppose. You could sometimes be quite mesmerised by what you're seeing. A little bit of sandpaper to the tip because not quite happy. He's got to 93 in no time, and doesn't seem to be a problem, the tip, but there we go. Another brilliant break.
Yeah, it's now, for those keeping score, Chris, entry number 1,311. 22nd of the season. If it is to be Ronnie O'Sullivan as against Jack Lazowski, as seems likely, that'll be tomorrow morning, British time 6:30. Worth setting the alarms for. Because O'Sullivan has made his move here. He was 2-0 down, but he's been really dominant since. He leads 4-2 and he's 2 away from victory.
odd mistake, and you've said, you know, that's sometimes all it takes against these top players. You know, on another day at 2 each, he makes that clearance from 60 down and goes on to maybe win the next frame. It's a completely different match, but they're the margins that we're playing with. This is no good. I knew as soon as it struck that, when the cue ball left the tip of the cue, that was not heading where he wanted it to. Again, it's just those little mistakes, those little unforced errors. There's no reason that he should have overrun that shot. End of break.
Just to confirm, Wang is 3-3 with Murphy. If you're wondering why we haven't seen Neil Robertson yet, by the way, because he had a walkover because Ken Doherty withdrew, so Robertson will be in action tomorrow. Nanjing's actually twinned with Melbourne, where he's from. I don't know whether that's an omen or not. It's also twinned with Birmingham, so maybe Mitchell Mann might be in with a shout this week. He's 3-2 down, though, to Scott Donaldson. Well, he got through the gap between green and brown, but it could have finished better, actually. Yeah, so end of break.
Yeah, and again, another good sign, isn't it, that, you know, he wasn't seduced into playing anything rash there. Took his medicine. Just tried to play a good safety shot. His target clearly where Sanderson's just pointed his cue. In behind that green and brown is a good area. If you can cut off escapes down this right side, this is quite an important safety shot if you can get this one right. And again, he hasn't. He's just caught it slightly too thick. corner on for Ronnie, can swing the cue ball between the red and black. Looks as if he's got a little strip of leather almost there that maybe suggests that the tip is on the soft side. Quite often you get little fibres just poke out of the tip itself, and when you're down on the shot you can see that. It's in your line of vision and can be a little bit off-putting, particularly when you have a tip that's flush to the ferrule. Doesn't necessarily make any difference to the shot itself or the feel of the tip. It's just annoying, really. Sometimes you'll see a player with a lighter just sort of burn the fibres away. Anyway, he's back in after a good opening red.
Well, it's clearly just annoying him, isn't it? What you just described. Yeah. Has anyone got a lighter? Well, he's going to the toolbox that is his cue case. Bit of sandpaper.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just a little fibre on the edge. I mean, it looks a pretty tidy tip, that, anyway. Looks like it's been well fitted.
Is it too late to fly Dominic Dale to Nanjing? He's the man for tips, isn't he, Dominic?
Probably already there, Dave. He loves it that much. He's probably on standby. Trouble is as well, the players tend to hold the cue in the same place for every shot, so with a tip on the soft side it can sort of compress in the same place and just maybe overhang a fraction, and if you're used to having a flush tip, just that little overhang can be a little off-putting. I mean, I've seen some shocking tips over the years. The ones that immediately spring to mind, Ben Wollaston's is never that tidy. He doesn't mind, he just puts it on and that's it. Craig Steadman, another.
Well, bottom line is the balls are still going in the pockets, regardless of all of that. He can't get it off his mind, can he? Going back to the cue case, I think. Not doing anything for the average shot times, is it?
Not doing anything for Sanderson's mood either, as he's watching Ronnie complain about the tip and proceed to not miss.
there's still plenty on here. They're not in great positions, obviously, but he's got a 41-point lead. Well, at least now the break's ended, he can go, he can go and work on that in his seat for a moment or two. Seems to be all he's thinking about. Sean Murphy has gone 4-3 up now against Wang Jinzhong. Now then, has he covered the potting angle here? Sanderson Lam. That's a big mistake, that.
Yeah, he was up very quickly off the shot. He sort of gesticulated that the cue ball may have just drifted off its intended line, because there's no way that he played to leave that red available to Ronnie. He was just trying to contain it. And it's quite a big mistake considering the position of the balls. Every red Ronnie pots is 8 points away from Sanderson. Now, will he be tempted by this double? I think he's just changed his mind there. If he takes the double on, he brings other reds into play. It's a good shot choice for me. There was no value whatsoever in that double. Once again, just shows you that he's willing to play the patient game.
Well, it's even taller now because he's snookered on all the reds. Has to hit one, that's the first thing. If he doesn't, he needs a snooker himself. Big target, obviously, on the left-hand side, the three reds clustered together. Wow. He's gone through the middle of them. Well, that kind of is starting to sum up his day, isn't it? I mean, it seemed harder to do that than to hit them. So now he needs a snooker. Well, he can't get it off his mind now, can he? He's hardly sort of focused on the frame, really. He's been focusing on sort of the fibres around the tip and all that, but he's won the frame, he's won it easily in the end, and he only needs one more to put himself in round 3. So, after all that, it is Ronnie O'Sullivan's frame, and it's starting to look like his match. 5-2 One more needed for victory.
Got to stay aggressive. Well, the attempted long red from Sanderson was a long way away, and the secondary cannon to the cue ball didn't help. That's not Ronnie's best best playing into the reds, bring more into play. Quite controlled cue ball. The middle is tricky. Well, it would have been for most players, but again, it's a very, very simple hesitation there. Straight down, just not the green in, no problems. Good to get to work. Watching many frames like this where it was a little bit messy and he's just trying to anticipate his route of how he's going to go about it. Black out of commission, of course, pink not available. But you would like to think that in a few shots' time and have at least one of them in play. Really is the best break builder we've ever seen. Quite some margin as well, just the way he goes about it.
14.
The red left of the black spot is just preventing Ronnie from playing on the black at the minute, because if he pots it, it then ties itself up once again, so he may look to play on that red now. Just tidy things up for when he eventually gets that black back on its spot. Well, in the end, took the gamble to go into them, and he won't be disappointed with that outcome. How well has he struck that with the opposite hand? Look at that. Play to perfection. There's a lot of players that would struggle to hit the ball that well with their good hand. Now the black clearly completely out of play. Love to get the pink on its spot at some point now. That will be available. Happy to work off the blue, which means the cue ball is going to be travelling. He's got to the point now in this break where he's kind of all in. So committed to the fact that he's just going to play up for the blue and just chip away at these reds. The longer he leaves pink and black out of commission, the more reds he takes off the table, the less chance Sanderson has got.
Just didn't quite get there. So 40 in front. I guess looking for one more chance to get it won. Wang Xingzhong has levelled at 4-4 with Sean Murphy, so there's still potential for a big upset there.
Not for the first time we've seen a frame Sanderson trailing and the ball's very awkward. Probably feeling quite deflated out there at the minute. From 2-0 up, probably thought like he was going to be involved a bit more in this match than he has been, but seemed to have turned pretty quickly. Once again, he finds himself sort of scrambling around in this frame to, first of all, get it back open and get the high-value colours in play. Of course, he needs them in play, but Ronnie doing a good job at just containing it. Red was ultra thin, safely negotiated by Ronnie, and nice angle on this brown to get back down this end of the table. Be interesting to hear the thoughts from Sanderson as to how he feels this game has sort of unfolded for him. He hasn't really done, anything drastically wrong. It's just been the odd shot here and there, which, as we've said, makes such a big difference at this level. But equally, Ronnie's not really pulled up any trees either. It feels like he's just controlled this match well. It's looking increasingly likely it's going to be a Lazowski-O'Sullivan showdown tomorrow, which should be on everyone's list to make sure they're tuned in for that one. That's going to be a blockbuster should it come to light.
Still needs another red here, so again, just having to wait. He's been patient, hasn't he? I think the one thing he's not been patient about is the sort of the tip business, but the actual match, he's played a very disciplined match, O'Sullivan.
Yeah, and again, look at how well he's executed that safety shot, that cue ball welded to the baulk cushion. Yes, Sanderson can see the red by the black, but he doesn't want to play it because it's such a tough return. You catch that ever so slightly wrong, the cue ball stays in the middle of the table, and of course there's the one red that Ron is waiting for by that right corner pocket. Sort of a do or die shot this for Sanderson. Such a tough position to find yourself in, almost resigned to the fact that you probably have lost this match, but the outside chance that something could turn around, it feels unlikely. Well, he's done well there. Had the discipline to just try and find a shot, just buy himself a shot.
That's the end, and he knows it. So he made that good century to lead 2-0, but Ronnie O'Sullivan has just stuck to his task, hasn't he? He's looked very good at times, get a century of his own, and he's been prepared to wait, to be patient. He's played some good safety, and Stephen said he's controlled it, really. He's controlled this match from 2-0 down. He's not really left this man many easy chances. He did have that, I guess, that chance a couple of frames ago, didn't he, to make the clearance. That would have been possibly significant, but it didn't happen. And now it doesn't seem to be any way back from here. Jack Lisowski not through yet. He's 5-4 over Louis Heathcote, so that's still in the balance. But whoever does come through will play Ronnie O'Sullivan in the last 32. It'll be the morning match, UK time, 6:30 on Tuesday. O'Sullivan hasn't won a ranking title since January 2024, the World Grand Prix. But he's still in the International Championship despite the various issues he felt he had with his tip. From 2-0 down, he's defeated Sanderson Lamb by 6 frames to 2. So O'Sullivan marches on to the last 32, and you can see the fans here will be delighted to see him again on Tuesday, as he still, with Sanderson's help,